This is the Sumo Laser from SUMOLIGHT.
This is a CineD Gear News video, supported by B&H and CVP.
Hey everybody, my name is Graham Mailer-Sheldon. Welcome to Cine Gear 2022. I'm here with Tim. We're at the SUMOLIGHT booth. How's it going, Tim?
Fine, great show, and we have a lot of interesting stuff to show, I think.
So I'm a bit embarrassed. I don't know a lot about SUMOLIGHT. I've never had a chance to use any of your products before. Can you just, at a high level, give me an understanding of what you guys do in lighting?
Yeah, okay, we are a 10-year-old company from Germany, founded by American gaffers and German engineers. And behind me you see the Sumo Space, which was one of our first products, also known for its modular design. Then we have in the back of us and above us the Sumo Sky system, which we came out with just a year ago. And we also have very new, the Sumo Max, which came out just a few weeks ago. Very popular, a lot of traction here due to the performance factor with 20,000 lux at 20 meter and an IP65 rating, pretty lightweight and fully passive. So that's something that a lot of people are looking for if they want to build big light boxes or have a very nice key light, or having also the interactivity that's built into it, where you can control 19 different pixels and actually run video content on them. So it's pretty interesting, I think, to test this and to use this in many different environments. Film, but also entertainment applications would come to mind. And then, of course, here at this show, we are really very happy that we can show our first laser light, the Sumo Laser, which is a film laser light, not an effects laser, but a technology we think is very interesting to explore more, because it has just fantastic capabilities. The luminance of a laser light is just so much higher than a normal LED. So basically it's a long distance light, right? So the applications that you would think of is searchlight, of course, because the throw of this light with a beam angle of 2.6% degrees is just fantastic. So it goes for miles, actually literally miles. We tested it outside Las Vegas in the desert, and you went to the next mountain range, basically. And so searchlight is one way of using it. Also, another option is to combine it with the light bridge reflector system, which is super interesting. I think that one of the most interesting use cases maybe for it. And of course, you can also put it on a smaller crane than an 18K, right? And light a football field, a baseball field, right? Don't needing the OHS officer with a bigger crane that you might be required to use. And so there are a couple of use cases we think where this is a very good option. It looks absolutely cool in my view. It's not that we try to make it look like an F-35 engine, but somehow it does.
Well, it looks like a science fiction laser weapon.
Well, that's also maybe a good way to use in one of the sci-fi movies coming up or so. I don't know.
So Tim, I have a couple of questions for you. When I hear lasers, I get afraid for my camera sensor. Yeah. Explain a little bit more about what is the technology here. Do I need to be worried about my camera sensor, things like that?
No, so basically it's a reflected laser. Therefore, it's neither for the human eye or the camera a problem. And therefore, so the laser shoots into the phosphor on a super small surface. That's why you get this super narrow beam angle coming out of the laser module. And it should not be a problem for the camera lenser at all, because it's reflected just like an LED if you want, right? But here we are using a laser light shooting into the phosphor. Therefore, since it's also reflected, the worries you might have shouldn't exist.
So now you were mentioning this is a light that could maybe go on something like a condor, light up a football field type of environment with a beam angle of just a few percent. This is very narrow. So is this modular? Would you add other ones to this? How would you spread out the beam enough to be lighting football fields? Help me with that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you do have a little bit of spread, right? And since almost all of our products are modular. You might know this from the big clusters of Sumo spaces you might have seen somewhere. The Sumo Max has the same form factor, so you can also build the same kind of clusters. And again, with the Sumo laser, that's also modular. So you can build an array of 7 of these lasers in a round shape, or 19, or any number basically, or a line or so. And if you build a large light source like this, the rigging options include that you can tilt the lights outwards a bit, a bit like a Ruby 7 configuration for people who might know this older light. And therefore you can actually manage the spread in that way. Yeah. We don't want to put any diffusion or other optical devices in front of it, because if you have that beam angle, you want to retain that beam angle. And therefore, on a smaller surface, an LED would be the better option. But if you have to transport light to a further distance, outside or wherever, then a laser is interesting.
And you're talking about really no accessories, right? You're not interested in modifying on the light, because we talk a lot about modifications and accessories. Is this is the beam angle, this is the beam angle you want. You don't want to mess with it beyond that, right? I mean,
that's exactly the thing. So we are a company where for the Sumo Max and the Sumo Space, we have a lot of accessories, and we love optical options. We love to have different options to attach accessories according to what's required. So all 4 accessories normally, but not on the laser light. This is just the beam and the light transport. That's what this is about.
Interesting. Let's talk about pricing and availability. I know it's very new. What's the price? I mean, it seems like you're using a lot of high quality materials here. And then availability, is it shipping anytime soon?
Yeah, it's shipping in the next 2-3 months. We have already some samples available, which we are showing gaffers and people around who are interested. And the pricing is not fully fixed yet. Ballpark is about $4,000 for one unit, maybe a little bit more, because of course the laser components are super expensive as well, and then they have the supply chain situation which everybody is in right now. So there's a little bit of insecurity there, but I think that's an interesting price point, and it can do some things better than any other light, I think, in terms of long distance lighting.
Well, it's very unique in a market kind of filled with 1x1 panels. It's kind of its own beast. And what about color temperature? Is it daylight only by color?
5,800 Kelvin, and so it's a single color light. There is a roadmap, which we are working on to go into a direction where in the end we might have a Sumo Max equipped with laser modules, basically, if you have a long distance lighting requirement. But at the moment, we're just getting acquainted with the technology. It's very, complex to deal with laser technology. We love doing that. So basically, even not really knowing how big a market potential for this light would be, we just said this is interesting, want to do it, and we came out with it, and now we get a tremendous response, and people seem to be interested in this kind of product.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm very interested in this kind of product too. It's kind of rare that I'm lighting up the side of a mountain, but now my brain is getting all tickly with the potential for laser lighting technology. Tim, what about any other specs that I'm missing? Maybe weight, power draw, output?
Yeah, so many people are surprised to learn that it's just 175 watts, weighing only 3.2 kilos, so something like 10 pounds, I guess. And therefore it's super lightweight, doesn't draw much power, but you can, if you have this out in the field against an 18K or so, at a certain point, the throw of this light will be, equaling and be better than one of those gigantic lights, even on a larger, with a more narrow beam angle. So it's interesting, and since you can combine it also in clusters, you can make this as powerful as you want, right? While still being pretty lightweight. So if this is in a Super 7 configuration, as we call it, like 7 of them together, this is still just over 22 kilos or so. Still pretty lightweight. I could carry this by myself. So.
Tim, this is very cool. Thank you so much for showing us around the SUMOLIGHT booth. I appreciate it.
Thanks for your interest. Thanks, and see you soon and somewhere else here at the show, I guess.
I hope so. Well, thank you so much for watching our continuing coverage of Cine Gear 2022. Stay tuned to CineD.com for more.